ETF, but how will all of these overnight cues impact our own markets? We have our research team joining in with how the trade setup looks like and how the stocks that are likely to be in the news this morning. First up, Vamakshi is joining in to get us all the market cues that we need to watch out for. Vamakshi, good morning. How's the setup looking like?
Well, good morning, Hormaz. When we look at Wednesday, markets started slightly on a positive note. Nifty traded within a narrow band of 24,200 to 24,100 and ultimately closed flat at 24,144 levels. But the selling pressure was prominent in the broader indices. They continue to underperform Nifty. Nifty mid-cap slipped by almost, Nifty mid-cap as well as small-cap slipped by around 0.6%. IT index, on the other hand, bucked this trend. It was up nearly 1.5%, and this large gains was largely led by TCS as well as HCL Tech. US markets on Wednesday also climbed higher after US CPI came in at 2.9%, the lowest level seen since 2021. It was, of course, a holiday yesterday, but most of the global markets were operational yesterday. Asia-Pacific markets largely rose after Japan's GDP growth beat expectations. China also reported mixed economic data. Europe, like you rightly mentioned, closed higher, maintained the week's positive momentum. We had stocks, DAX as well as CAC soaring in trade over 1%. The US indices also advanced as strong retail sales and labor market data soothed recession fears, and as a result, all of the US indices were up in trade. So overall, it's a positive handover coming in from the global markets. But what to watch out for today? We will be watching out for Ola Electric, Glenmark Pharma. They will be reacting to their numbers. Vedanta and Hinsik will be some other counters that will be on our radar, and that is because Vedanta has increased the size of its OFS and fixed the floor price for Hinsik shares at 486 per share. And given this positive handover coming in from the global markets, we're seeing a positive start for the Indian markets.
Positive start indeed is what the Gift Nifty is suggesting. Vamakshi, thanks a lot for that update. Now, let me take you through some of the stocks that you need to keep an eye out for other than those that Vamakshi mentioned. And she was highlighting Vedanta and Hindustan Zinc. Both of them will be in focus because Vedanta has now increased the OFS size of Hindustan Zinc. They earlier planned to sell around 11 crore shares or 2.6% of the total equity. They have now increased that. Now they plan on selling around 13.3 crore shares, and that amounts to around 3.17% of the total equity. The floor price, they have fixed it at 486 rupees a share, which is a 15% discount to Wednesday's closing price. The offer for sale will be open for non-retail investors today and for retail investors on Monday. So we'll keep an eye out on both these stocks. Ola Electric reported numbers. Now these were the first numbers that the company reported after listing. The net loss widened to 347 crore compared to last year. The revenues were up 32%. The EBITDA loss also almost at similar levels, 205 crores compared to a loss of 218 crore last year. But they made some new launches yesterday on the Independence Day holiday, and also they have received some positive brokerage commentary this morning. We'll talk about that in just a bit. SpiceJet also reported numbers. The balance sheet shows a net profit, but that is all courtesy because of an other income component, because if you exclude the other income, the airline would have reported a net loss of 222 crore. But more than the numbers, it is the concerns that the airline's auditors have flagged off, and that they've said that the airline is in non-compliance with various laws and regulations, and the losses that they have accumulated has completely eroded the airline's net worth. What they also say is that their current liabilities are now exceeding their assets by well over 6,000 crores, and all of this has cast a significant doubt over the company's ability to continue as a going concern. So some serious observations made by the auditors of SpiceJet. Glenmark was the other one that reported results. The US sales were in line with expectations. The India business, the European business also saw double-digit growth, but the margins were the key positive here. 18.1% is 6-quarter high margins for Glenmark Pharma. We'll keep an eye out on that as well. Earnings reactions will also come in from stocks like Madras Fertilizers, which returned to profitability, Polyplex Corporation, which also returned to profitability compared to last year, and KNR Constructions as well, that will be reacting to results. And a lot of ex-dates today for Gland Pharma for their dividend, Page Industries for their dividend as well, and 3 record dates for their share buybacks of Cera Sanitaryware, Dhanuka Agritech and Savita Oil Technology. So we'll keep an eye out on all of these names as we go into the final trading day of the week. And over to Nigel now, who's joining in with cues from the F&O space. Nigel, good to have you back on the show. What's the setup looking like on the F&O side?
Well, morning, Hormuz. You know, you're saying that the overnight handover is good, so let's hope for a good Friday, because otherwise the markets have been a little bit brittle, a little bit flattish. Even the overnight cues, when we get a positive one, we see some bit of a sell-off from the top. And even Wednesday's trading session, well, it was as flat as can be. So given the kind of global backdrop, I'm hoping that today actually could be a rather good session. The GIFT Nifty is suggesting 170-point gap up. I think at some point of time you get an intraday dip, maybe in the first hour itself. So participating on the upside and looking to buy the dips should continue. What about the FI positioning? Well, they moved net short again. The net short positions at around 30,000 contracts or thereabouts. As I always say, I like a net short market, and with the FI's net short, that gives you reason to believe there could be some kind of short covering. The clients, they have swung things around. Just maybe 10 sessions or so ago, they were net short with close to around 50,000 contracts. Now the net long positioning has moved to around 90,000 contracts. So big swing is what we've seen on that front. Moving to the options data, now the PCR has moved back up to around 1.1. The number of calls, though, getting written are quite aggressive. 24,200 call. I'll keep an eye out on that one because there was call writing going, into this holiday. So that's going to be important because you see some unwinding out there. That's telling you that the bears are getting a little bit nervous. So there has been writing at 24,200, 24,400. But on the downside, the 24,000 put has seen a fair bit of addition. The Nifty is now trading in the middle of the 20 as well as the 50 DMA. We're closer to the lower end of the range. So in case you see a bit of a bounce, you'll want it to get closer to around the 20 DMA, which is going to be important. For the day, going by the options data, 24,350, 24,400. That's going to be the crucial resistance mark, and the bulls will want to end closer around there. Support, though, as at around the 24,000 mark for numerous factors. That's the number where the 50 DMA is also around. The Nifty Bank, well, that ended closer to around the 100 DMA. You'll want it to defend from here and show some kind of strength. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Given that the global backdrop is good and maybe, in fact, those fears of recession have been pushed back a little bit, two sectors I'm going to track. One is the IT space. NASDAQ has had a blowout rally in the last few sessions. And the metal index, which has been an underperformer. If recession fears are, a little bit subduing, then maybe, in fact, the metal index could participate. So keep an eye on that.
IT and metals, the two sectors to watch out for today. Nigel, thanks a lot for that update.